The true story of A Q was written by Lushun, a famous Chinese writer and thinker. The book was first published in 1921 and is one of the most well-known works in modern Chinese literature. Lushun wrote this story during a time when China was going through major changes. The country was facing internal struggles, foreign invasions, and conflicts between old traditions and new ideas. He wanted to show the problems in Chinese society through the life of a simple man, A Q, who represents many ordinary people at that time. The story is set during the late Qing dynasty and the early years of the Republic of China. This was a period of great instability, with the fall of the imperial system and the rise of new political movements. Traditional values were being challenged, and people were uncertain about the future. The country was struggling with poverty, corruption, and social inequality. Many people hoped for change, but there was also fear and confusion about what that change would bring. In this environment, individuals like A Q, who lacked education and resources, found themselves lost and unable to adapt to the shifting world around them. A Q is a poor, uneducated man who lives in a village called Weishuang. He does not have a real home and sleeps in a small temple or wherever he can find shelter. He does small jobs for wealthy families in the village, but never has steady work. People in the village do not respect him, and they often laugh at him. But A Q has a strange way of thinking. Whenever something bad happens to him, he convinces himself that he has won in some way. This is what Lushun calls his spiritual victory. One day, A Q gets into a fight with a young man from the Zhao family. He loses the fight, but instead of feeling sad or angry, he tells himself that being beaten by a rich person is almost like being rich himself. He feels proud of this idea, even though it does not change his situation. This way of thinking helps A Q survive in a world where he is always treated unfairly. This belief in spiritual victories becomes a habit for A Q, allowing him to escape from the harsh reality of his life. Whenever he suffers humiliation or loss, he convinces himself that he is still superior in some way. This mindset protects him from the pain of defeat, but it also prevents him from ever truly improving his life. A Q continues to work in the village, but he often gets into trouble. Once, he tries to flirt with a young maid from the Zhao family. The family is angry and punishes him severely. After this, people in the village look down on him even more. Still, A Q does not feel ashamed. He tells himself that being punished by rich people makes him important in some way. As time passes, A Q experiences more misfortunes. He is often bullied and insulted by the villagers, but instead of fighting back or trying to change his circumstances, he keeps relying on his habit of spiritual victories. He convinces himself that the people who hurt him are actually beneath him, even though he is the one suffering. This cycle of self-deception keeps him trapped in his poor and miserable life. Some villagers even use him as a source of entertainment, making fun of him without fear of retaliation. Though A Q sometimes considers fighting back, he never gathers enough courage to do so. Instead, he continues to fool himself with illusions of victory, making his suffering bearable. Later, A Q decides to leave the village and go to the city. He hopes to find a better life there, but nothing changes for him. He cannot find good work and is still treated badly by others. He wanders the streets, looking for opportunities that never come. His clothes become even more tattered, and his appearance worsens. After months of hardship, he realizes that the city is not the dreamland he imagined. Feeling hopeless, he returns to Weishuang, thinking that maybe life in the village is better. When he comes back, he hears people talking about a revolution. He does not really understand what it means, but he wants to be part of something important. He starts calling himself a revolutionary, even though he does not do anything to help the movement. He listens to conversations about rebellion, but he does not grasp the deeper meaning. Instead, he assumes that revolution simply means taking from the rich and becoming powerful. He starts boasting about his involvement, even though he has done nothing. This makes him feel important, even if it is not true. As the revolution spreads, chaos takes over the village. A Q sees some people breaking into rich households and stealing things. He decides to join them, thinking that this is his chance to become rich and powerful. He dreams of a new life where people respect him. But阿Q is not smart or lucky. Instead of becoming a hero, he is accused of being a thief. The authorities arrest him, and the people in the village do not support him. They only see him as a troublemaker who deserves to be punished. Even those who used to mock him now avoid him, fearing association with a criminal.阿Q is taken to jail, and he still does not fully understand why he is there. He tries to comfort himself by believing that everything will be fine. Even when the officials tell him that he will be executed, he refuses to accept it. He keeps thinking that something will happen to save him. He imagines that the revolutionary leaders will come to rescue him, or that some miracle will turn him into a hero. But nothing changes. The day of his execution arrives, and阿Q is confused and scared. As he is led to his death, he still tries to find a way to convince himself that he is winning in some way. But this time, there is no way for him to escape reality. He is executed in front of a crowd, and the people quickly forget about him.阿Q's story is tragic and ironic. Throughout his life, he refuses to face the truth. He always tells himself that he is winning, even when he is clearly losing. His endless self-deception prevents him from changing his fate. Lucian uses阿Q's story to show how people like him, unwilling or unable to change, become victims of their own illusions. The novel reflects the reality of many powerless individuals who avoid facing the harsh truth of their situation. The true story of阿Q is not just about one man, it reflects an entire society struggling with change.阿Q's life is a warning about the dangers of self-deception and inaction. His story is simple yet powerful, forcing readers to reflect on their own lives and choices. Through阿Q, Lucian paints a picture of a world where those who refuse to confront reality are doomed to repeat their mistakes, trapped in an endless cycle of failure.